Hello, I'm going to go through a few items. These items are at the furthest extremes, sort of at the furthest extremes of what we sell. And one of the things we're selling is this picture by Terry Frost, Sir Terry Frost. He was a 20th century painter, artist who was known for abstract stuff. Abstract stuff in the mid 1900s was more shocking than abstract is to us now. Abstract to us now is boring. We've seen it all before. We've seen holograms, we've seen Damien Hirst, we've seen Banksy, we've seen stencils, we've seen Rothko, we've seen all that stuff. It's not novel. When he was doing it, even then it wasn't that novel. He was doing it 80 years after the first people really started to do it in the Victorian era. But the thing about Terry Frost, Sir Terry Frost, is he had a circle of influence, and he had a network of people who could sell his stuff. So he was known to Passmore, he was known to Ben Nicholson, he was known to Barbara Hepworth, the sculptor, Henry Moore, all the right people. He knew them all, and he hung out with them all. And he hung out with them. He came from Leamington Spa, which is near Warwickshire, just down the road from where I was born, 5 miles from where I was born. But he hung out in London, and he hung out in Cornwall, in Newlyn. Newlyn is this sort of seaside-y place where artists would retreat, and they would be very contemplative, and they would often paint very naive, colourful, simple things. They would paint a trawler, they would paint a lighthouse, they would paint a seagull, they would paint a child on the beach with a starfish, and it was an escape. And in Cornwall there was reputedly a lot of light, and all the artists said, "Oh, the light's so good, the light's so good," and they would relax, and they would use bright colours, and they would paint different things. So Terry Frost did abstract. He used vivid colours. He was he would explore things. He was fairly inventive. We bought this thing here. It's an original Terry Frost. I was very surprised I was able to get it anywhere near buying it, but we bought this thing, and it is really nicely framed. For me as a merchant, the first thing is it's titled Sunburst Newlyn. That means I can say, oh, it's a School of Newlyn, which immediately, like School of St Ives, immediately makes it worth more money. It has a stamp of a framer. It has his name and a date. It's framed. It is in a very nice frame. The frame has got a cloth effect lining. It is pine, not composite. The picture is flat. The picture is on some Terry Frost personalised artist paper. So he had a pile of Terry Frost paper with his name printed on it, and he'd done this. So I can say it wasn't done in a restaurant when he was drunk, for example, because it's his own paper. It's signed with his full name, not just TF or F. It's got a date. 1997 now, starting to look like quite a long time ago. It is a sun. It is a sunburst. It is the sea. There is a reflection. It is happy. It's small, but it's not insignificant small. This is a powerful thing, and if you like Terry Frost, or you want to buy a bit of proper English art from a knighted artist, this is a good thing to buy. This will be very expensive in 20 years' time. Very expensive. Quite expensive now, but it's going to get really expensive. The other things we're showing you today are these etchings. This came from an auction in England. I liked it so much, I just bought it as a single lot. It's in a nice 20th century frame. It's never been fiddled with. It's in a modest but nice gilded frame. It has a nice mount. It is a squarish piece of paper, and it shows an etching. You have wood blocks, you have engravings, you have etchings. A wood block is a piece of wood with holes cut in it to print, and engraving is a piece of metal with the details sliced into it so it would hold the ink. This is an etching where a piece of metal has had grease, wax or resin put on it, and the artist has drawn through this barrier so acid can etch the etching plate. So this is sort of almost like engraving, and it's almost like a sketch. It is an engraving, and the plate would have been able to be used to make more than one print. I would guess 200. The reason I say 200 is because we get books which say, oh, there were 200 copies, and etchings on the whole were made to go in books. So this is an etching from, roughly speaking, 1760. by James Bassier. So it's James Bassier Fake It, Latin for made, and it does say Guercino. I think you pronounce Guercino, Guercino, something like that. And so it's an old Italian etching, and it's been taken. I think the original painting here is in the Royal Collection, and the sculptor, the engraver, the etcher, James Bassier, who is also, I think, probably a publisher, has knocked this together. It's absolutely gorgeous. The colour, the scene isn't so gorgeous. The scene shows Saint Petronilla being examined by 3 people. So it's a strange scene, but it's very squiggly and spontaneous, not like an etching. Etchings are mechanical, and they're made by engraving in a different way. The curls are made by turning the picture, not turning the tool. So there's different techniques. This is another one, we bought this in a job lot. This one is not stamped with a publisher or an engraver or a source painting. This also is from Guercino, I can't remember how you pronounce it. It shows a lady seated woman. They haven't got a name for the sitter, and again you've got these lovely swirls. It's modest, it's small, but again I think even though it's small, I think that will, if I get it framed up, I think that we can put those together. It won't be the same, obviously, frame, but I think it should be framed, and I think that though this has got a blotch on it here, which is unfortunately ink, if I frame it the same way as the other one, we will be able to get away with that mark. It will be hidden under the mount. So we've discussed Terry Frost, fairly recent, very bright, huge uplift. That will have a huge uplift in price down the line because it's an original. And we have these here, which I think again are scarce. They're not desperately uncommon, but they are scarce. They're getting scarce. It's the right sort of look. They're very good looking things, and as we know, who painted the original, there's more to them as a backstory. So I hope you found it interesting. Okay, thank you.